Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to Drawing Down the Stars. I'm Snappy. Thank you for joining me for our live tarot session on today, August 21st, 2024. Thank you all for joining me. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. So let's start by giving a shout out to our chat here. Good to see you, Valerie. Much love, Gandhi. Good to see you, Christy. Good to see you, Graham. Good evening, Geronimo. Much love, Nikosmas. Good to see you, D-Love. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you. So let's start by talking a bit about our astrology. So today we have that amazing full moon energy still shining on us. We're seeing it just for a little bit still as we move out of it, and as that moon in Pisces continues to transition to our moon in Aries, right? So we have this deep, profound, beautiful moment. If you didn't hear me the first time, hear me tonight. Go out under the stars, sit out under that beautiful moon and make yourself heard. Imagine yourself into the future. Imagine a beautiful reality, right? And ask the goddess for help. Shine that light to your deepest inner core. Connect to that Pisces energy and use it to expose yourself to your true emotions and your true feelings. Connect to the deepest essence of you, who you truly are. You can do that in this moment under this moon. It's that powerful. And we also have this amazing sun and lunar, sun and Leo energy. And the sun, I've been chatting all day today. I finished the Apuleius's, the golden ass, and now my tongue is all kind of twisted. Too much talking. But yes, we have the sun in Leo, and it's beautiful energy, right? It's that ability to be our true unique selves, that confidence, that radiance, that strength of character. Be in this sun energy. Let it shine on you and inspire you and push you to heights, Just also recognize that in this moment with this full moon, especially in this Pisces energy, we're all going to be ultra sensitive. We're all going to feel the weight of everyone's emotions around us. So just recognize that and know that you're just sensitive and you need to be in peace and flow, and chaotic people are going to hurt in this moment, And I wanted to talk a bit about the card I pulled in the title of today's reading. So when I was meditating this morning and first doing my cards, I pulled the Knight of Discs. And I thought this was really fortuitous. It really fit with the flow of yesterday's reading, where we had that Princess of Discs and we had the Prince. And this energy of embodying that energy of going out and taking the actions that are needed to manifest the change and desire that you want, right? To truly do the work that is necessary, to take advantage of this last night of the full moon, to really bask in that energy, to be that knight who goes and saves the damsel, who rescues the maiden. These are all encoded myths, encoded mysteries, all about refinement and the pursuit of the ideal and beauty. We all can be that knight. We can all pursue the beautiful. We can all discipline and transform ourselves, and we can all seek that beauty, that goddess. And I wanted to read you this incredible poem by Madison Julius Comine. It's called The Knight Errant. Onward he gallops through enchanted gloom. The specters of the forest dark and dim, and shadows of vast death environ him. Onward he spurs, victorious over doom. Before his eyes that love's far fires illume. Where courage sits, impregnable and grim, the form and features of her beauty swim, beckoning him on with looks that fears consume. The thought of her distress, her lips to kiss, mails him with triple might, and so at last to lust's huge keep he comes, its giant walls, wild towering, frowning from the precipice, and through its gates, born like a bugle blast, o'er night and hell he thunders to his all. Go towards that all. Seek out experience and love. Pursue life and generation. You know, be that knight and seek beauty. Love it. All right. We're now going to start our reading today with our Ganapati Oracle, where we ask that incredible divine God, Ganapati Ganesha, the divine child, Lord of beginnings, to inspire us and to make sure our words get heard by those who need to hear them. So, Ganapati, Lord of the Ganas, what is the message this evening? All right. Understanding. This immediately makes me think of one of my all-time favorite songs, a reggae tune by the Gay Lads, which is called Peace and Love and Understanding. Understanding, taking the time to reflect, taking the time to think, to see from multiple perspectives, to gain that insight, to use that perception sense, that Saturnian magic of wisdom, to perceive and to understand, to compare and to measure, and to use that faculty of reason, right? Beautiful, beautiful energy. And under the full moon now is a perfect time for that self-understanding, to shine that light into the depths of your soul and to use that reason to pierce, right? And to see yourself as you are, right? That's the goal. Know thyself is what is written on the walls of Eleusis, right? Okay. We are now going to go to our sortes, and we're going to start the day with the great, the wonderful, the beautiful Gurdjieff. Beelzebub tales to his grandson. All right. For those of you unaware, the sortes is a form of bibliomancy, that is divination through literature, where we ask the goddesses of inspiration, the muses, to come and to inspire us, to send us a message through the text and to guide our hand. So muses, what is the inspiration? What is the message? How do we best move and flow? How do we manifest our true wills? The notion that to kill animals for the purpose of consuming their flesh for food was the greatest sin, and moreover, that such flesh was very harmful to the health, and so on. To spread among all the followers of the teachings of Jesus the notion that to kill animals for the purpose of consuming their flesh for food was the greatest sin. Moreover, that such flesh was very harmful to health, and so on. I mean, I don't like to evangelize about that just because I have family and friends who live in the far north and have a very different culture and have a very different lifestyle because of where they live. Not everyone can be vegetarian or vegan. That being said, I've been vegetarian for most of my life. So, beautiful message. Let's continue. All right. Hermann Hesse, Narcissus and Goldman. All right. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message? How do we best move and flow? Inspire us this evening. Again, he sat at the old place above the river. The sun had gone down, cold came up from the water. The stone on which he sat felt cold. The street along the embankment had grown quiet. The stream foamed around the pillars of the bridge, and the depths of the water were dark. No gold shimmer blinked up anymore. This just makes me think of my own place because I live right on a river, And this is an incredible, beautiful image to go and sit by the river, right? And to feel the cold rise, the steam come up from the waters. If you have that opportunity, take that opportunity. It doesn't necessarily have to be a river, you know, it can be any body of water. You can also just go out and be in nature and look up and see the moon or see the clouds. The clouds are just as beautiful, right? Let's continue. Okay, we're now going to go to Don Juan in Hell by Bernard Shaw. Uses, what is the message from Shaw? Inspire us. This is just cute. It was woman who taught me to say, I am, and therefore I think. And also, I would think more, therefore I must be more. It was woman who taught me to say, I am, therefore I think. And also, I would think more, therefore I must be more. Yeah, it's interesting. This whole idea of I think, therefore I am, and the nature of existence, it is one that is born from privilege in many ways. To have if you grew up in extreme degradation or slavery, you don't have that experience. Your thoughts are controlled by another in many instances. It's it's a complicated question, and there's a lot to think about. I think, therefore I am. It was women who taught me to say, I am, therefore I think. To exist is to have thought. That's beautiful. And to think more is to be more. It's to that ever expansion, right? That ever generation. That's really beautiful mother goddess kind of Dionysian ideas too, when you really think about it. I am, therefore I think, and also I would think more, therefore I must be more. Ever expanding, right? To exist is to think, because all are children of that divine mother, all are a part of that unfolding of the weave. All right, beautiful. We now go to Q by Luther Blissett. Okay. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message from Q? Inspire us this evening. Only confused images. I can't remember anything else. But I woke with the sense of something hanging over everyone's fate, like a dark shadow pressing on the mind. Have you ever had those dreams? Those dreams where you can't recall any images, but you feel the weight of them, the profundity, right? In those moments, I always try to meditate and think on the dream. Often the images still don't come, but the feeling can still be rewarding and still can offer something to say. And we've been seeing this message of the dreams lately, and I think it's a recognition that even if you cannot see the dream per se, there is something being told, right? Just that feeling of that deja vu, that recollection is important. Yeah, for those of us who have trouble with dreams, I always tell people exercise, drink more, and if you are a prominent user of cannabis or coffee, cut it out. And you would be surprised the dreams will come flooding back, right? And it doesn't hurt to take a break. You don't have to quit for forever. Nothing's forever, right? But it may be worth it for a beautiful dream. It's up to you. All right, let's continue. We can now go to Goethe, Faust. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message? Inspire us this evening. If I know anything to judge him by, he rambled as he neared the other shore. No chance had I for promenades, he said. First I got children, then I got them bred. When I say bred, the broadest sense is meant. With mine I got no freedom or content. Oof. The toils of life and of responsibility, right? Life is difficult. But hey, it is what it is. If I know anything to judge him by, he rambled as he neared the other shore. No chance had I for promenades, he said. First I got children, then I got 'em bred. When I say bred, the broadest sense is meant. With mine I got no freedom or content. But the key here is that he was responsible and he ensured that they were fed in the broadest sense and taken care of. You know, that's beautiful in many ways. Okay, we're now going to go to Byron. Selected poems and letters. All right, Muses. What is the message from Lord Byron? Inspire us this evening. And one good action in the midst of crimes is quite refreshing. In the affected phase of these ambrosial phariasic times, with all their pretty milk and waterways, and may serve therefore to bedew these rhymes, a little scorched at present with the blaze of conquest and its consequences, which make epic poesy so rare and rich. Oh, wow. And one good action in the midst of crimes is quite refreshing. In the affected phrase of these ambrosial phariasic times, with all their pretty milk and waterways, and may serve therefore to bedew these rhymes, a little scorched at present with the blaze of conquest and its consequences, which make epic poesy so rare and rich. Wow. What he's saying is that in the midst of this time, when everything is quite like the Pharisees, right? Phariasic, this idea of the tyranny of these religious kind of crazies, with all their pretty milk and waterways, and may serve therefore to bedew these rhymes, a little scorched at present with the blaze of conquest and its consequences, which make epic poesy so rare and rich. So he's taking a moment to look and reflect on the beauty of life around him in the midst of the fire and blaze of war and conquest. You know, and he says, hey, it makes for epic poetry. Wow. Poesy. Poesy. Make epic poesy. All right. Let us continue. The Decameron. All right, by Boccaccio. Muses, what is the message? Inspire us this evening. 'Twas time to the house of the lady, where dawning the gewgaws had brought with him, he transformed himself into an angel, and going up, entered his lady's chamber. 'Twas time to the house of the lady, where donning the gewgaws he had brought with him, he transformed himself into an angel, and going up, entered the lady's chamber. Does this not reflect what I titled today's reading? Take up arms and rescue the maiden fair. The same idea. Yeah, it's a weird, outdated word. Where was it here? Gewgaws. Okay. Yeah. Gewgaws. Gewgaws. donning himself in finery, right, in order to impress this maiden, and turns himself into an angel in all of that finery, right? The same thing with the knight. The knight is that symbol of maturity and refinement, right? And climbing the tower, right, is pursuing the whole idea with that analogy of the knight is that by pursuing the tower and making it past the dragon and taking the princess and bringing her down, you prove that you are worthy of the beauty, right? You are capable. You overcome all the challenges, you know? You are the bravest in the land. It's cheesy, but, fairy tales are cheesy, and it's beautiful cheese. Right? Okay, let's continue. Arcana Mundi. All right. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message from Arcana Mundi? Inspire us this evening. How the Pythia's trance was induced is still a mystery. The archaeologists have shown that there was no chasm from which she could have breathed any kind of gas. Scholars who chewed large numbers of laurel leaves felt no special effect. Drinking the holy water or bathing in it can no longer be tested. These may have played a certain role, along with fasting, praying, and staying awake, essentially magical operations inducing the trance that led up to the ultimate vision. For many Greeks and Romans, it was a case of possession of a god or daimon taking over. This is a reminder, right? When they tell you about that silliness about the vapors and the gas, and that's what turned them into the, into the Pythia. No. There's no evidence that this ever happened. What we do have evidence of are things that can't be tested, but lots of story, right? And you have to think about this. What was that gas really? We have all of these stories of fumigation and fumigation rites and bathing people in hallucinogenic smoke and cannabis smoke and other types of smoke. What do you think they're doing to the priestesses? And then they have all these stories about the snakes, them breeding snakes and working with snakes, training snakes, having snakes in the hair, having snakes sewn into the very fabric of their clothes. You don't think they're doing anything with the venom? And then if any of us who have read or looked at Ammon's work understands, right? What the Dark Harbor is, what that whole thing is with the tripod, right? It's this idea of biopharmacy, turning the human body into a drug production factory in the sense, right? And then through arousing her, she creates the water of life. And then you drink the waters of life, and then that's what gets you stoned. You see very similar things in different shamanistic traditions across the globe. Drinking of urine, drinking of sexual fluids, especially after the consumption of hallucinogenic drugs. And people still do this. It's not like it ever went away either. So, interesting. But, academics tried to do it exactly as was written, and nothing happened. Nothing happened. The laurel leaves alone weren't enough. Makes me think I remember reading about Carl Ruck trying to recreate the Eleusinian rites, and they're going through and they're going and they're making their drinks, and nothing's happening. And there's the secret has been lost in a sense, but it was definitely, I imagine, a psychedelic one. Interesting. All right. Thanks, George Luck. We're now going to go to the Mystic Tarot in the Trees of Eternity. All right. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message from the Mystic Tarot? Inspire us. The ancient Egyptians also knew the frog Neter as Hector, whom the Greeks called Hecate, the Old One, and the primal spirit. Hect is the cutter, the divider into two, for begetting and multiplication require division. Hect or Hecate is also Kut, the fire of light and intelligence. The Kut is in turn the feminine form of the Ku, a spirit body, a form of the formless essence which all creatures and things are born with, the Saturnian other. Any encounter between light or intelligence and the night, the imperceptible or unknown, produces a perceptible phantasm. Wow. Interesting stuff here. The ancient Egyptians also knew the frog Neter as Hecht, whom the Greeks called Hecate, the Old One, and the primal spirit. Hecht is the cutter, the divider into two, for begetting and multiplication require division. Hecht or Hecate is also the Kut, the fire of light and intelligence. Kut is in turn the feminine form of the Ku, a spirit body, a form of the formless essence which all creatures and spirits are born, the Saturnian other. An encounter between light or intelligence and the night, the imperceptible or unknown, produces a perceptible phantasm. A phantasm is no different than an apparition, which means an appearance of something. Thus, the magical powers of the path are said to be of bewitchments and the casting of illusions. Okay, there's so much to unpack here because you're seeing multiplicity of images and names, and there's a lot of things that are happening. Okay, that three-faced deity Hecate is also Persephone. Okay, is also the queen of the underworld. It's also Rhea, is that partner of Pluto, who is also Dionysus, who is also Saturn, Kronos, right? You're seeing this continuation of that energy, of that duality, of that chthonic couple that is the center of the chthonic mythos, right? It's interesting. Oh, that's a cool one, Andy. Kun in Greek is dog. Interesting. Kut, kun, cut, right? All going back to that Saturnian magic. And then they're talking about the phantasm. That's that daimonic essence, right? The image, the eidolon that is produced. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And the frog. Also, that frog energy is really intense too, because also in the Egyptian we have the what is that chaos frogs, the deity called? I'm not as familiar with the Egyptian. It always goes over my head. But it was a big thing on the internet a few years ago. But yeah, many layers. Okay. Wow. Interesting. Let's just say, hail the great mother, Isis, Persephone. That was wild too. When I was reading, today I finished reading Apuleius is the Golden Ass or Metamorphosis. And at the end, Lucius gives this incredible prayer where he recognizes all of these triadic feminine deities as that one mother goddess, and that her true name is Isis. So I'm going to write in the chat what the word was. It was Hect, Hekt. Hect. All right, interesting. Okay. We're now going to go to Ore by Gabriel Macari. All right. Muses, what is the message from Ore? Inspire us this evening. Ore is once more borrowing from Jung's terminologies, the author's own Liber Novus, at this juncture in time, by virtue of it being an alchemical treaty, Or perhaps it is the creation of personal symbols, crafting one's own mythopoetic, and setting aflame the active principles in one's own garden of the possible. Oh, wow. Well, you guys have been given some homework. For anyone asking what the idea is with Hore, the title of this book, it comes to us from Jung. Now, I know Jung is a very controversial figure, and rightly so. He was very, very racist, but he was a dragon and he knew his stuff, and there is a lot there if you can go in and dig through the feces as well. You know, with a lot of these old guys, you got to dig through a lot of feces to get the good stuff, but it's there. And what we're being told is to go to Liber Novus. And in Liber Novus, we're going to find an alchemical treaty, right? And I really love this. It's in brackets, but it's just so well said. Or perhaps it is the creation of personal symbols, crafting one's mythopoetic, and setting aflame the active principle in one's own garden of the possible. So it seems like there's some practical magic, some serious practical magic about creating one's own mythopoetic self, right? And setting that inspiration ablaze, becoming that virago, right? Ascending to the stars. We know that Jung knew some of the secrets. Liber Novus, check it out. All right, let's continue. We're now going to go to Independent People by Luckness. All right. Use this, guide my hand. What is the message from Independent People? All right. Your health doesn't seem to be up to much, my man, for in all her long experience, she had never heard of a man lying in bed with his hands under his head, staring up at the roof all day, unless he was very ill indeed. You know, the image of that old grandmother makes me again think of that image of Hecate as the old one in Egyptian, Hecht. And we're seeing this grandmother energy who's coming to tend to you and saying, like, I don't think life is so bad. I think you're making a big deal out of nothing and you need to get out of bed and face reality. I think that's the message, you know? Organize your life, figure it out. Get up, and recognize the world isn't against you. You're not as ill as you think you are. All right. Let's continue. Underworld. Okay. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message from Underworld? Inspire us this evening. Persephone is a unique deity in that she is both free and trapped in the underworld. During the winter months, she is known to be exclusively in the underworld, but in the summer and spring, she is understood to be in the terrestrial and celestial region. This puts her into an enviable position and a superior one to her husband, who is restricted to the underworld almost entirely. Right? It's interesting. She has the power to transcend and to go between those three realms. You know? Beautiful. All right. Well, I think we're going to stop there for our sorties this evening, and we are now going to move to our tarot proper. And before I do, please give me a like and a subscribe. And if you are at all interested in a private reading, reach out. You can email me, Snappy, ddts@gmail.com, or you can message me on the Myth and Lore Discord. I'm Snappy or Lady Snappy. And you'll find all of that in the description as well. And please, the likes really do help. They boost everything. Thanks for listening to my spiel. And now let's invoke our tarot of Lady Frida Harris and Aleister Crowley. And we called that spirit of Saturn Kronos. And we asked them to dissect our life, to cut it up onto the plate, to expose our current, present interactions. And we ask, how do we best move and flow? How do we rise above? How do we evolve? And how do we best manifest our true will? And as always, the center card is the most important. Okay. And today's center is the Prince of Cups. Beautiful. Addis energy. Refinement energy. Pursuing that high romantic love, right? This is a beautiful imagery. Addis is that god who falls. If you read the hymn to the mother of all gods, he's their companion with the great mother, Cybele, right? But he grows bored, he grows interested, he's inspired by the beauty of the nymphs. And he chases after the nymphs and he falls into creation until he falls to the depths, all the way down into the mud. And there in the mud, he is bound down with the nymphs. But he can recognize that love of the great mother still. She shines up. And he, through his recognition of her, decides to reject the filth and the mud, to take responsibility, right? And then with the help of the beast, that divine Helios, he's able to pull himself out of the mud. He goes through the madness and he castrates himself. He rejects matter and imitates the mother. And through this transformation, eventually embodies her in the fullest sense of the word. Right? Beautiful. So this is about that pursuit, that mystical pursuit, right? And we're showing up in this way that we are still bound in the material. We need to rise above. We need to ascend and climb upon the back of the beast and do that hard work of disciplined energy, of taking responsibility, of moving forward, right? Beautiful. Let's continue. Faded energy, the wheels of time turn, right? Now is the time for this kind of action, to be in that energy of that Addis, the one who pursues those emotional connections, the one who takes a deep look at themselves and does that hard work of refinement, you know, and is striving and striving, even though they're showing up immature. And they're rising to this fate, right? They're ascending to the moment and they're adapting to it. Beautiful. Okay, let's continue. Because the tower is falling, change is here, right? The tower is interesting energy because it recognizes that this is an ending and a painful ending. And it is something that catches us off guard, that we're not prepared for, that we don't necessarily see. And it is that painful energy that knocks sense into us, right? It's that reaction to make us take responsibility. Sometimes we need to have the rug pulled out from under us and we need to transform because what we have built is not going where it should. We're repeating the same cycles over and over. So this is that energy of what is the collapse? What is the issue? What is falling? What are we reflecting on? What is causing us to come into this Addis energy, right? What is causing us to rise this wheel of fate? What I'm seeing here is that this energy of Addis is as a result of this fall, right? We are recognizing that this collapse is because of our own inability to take responsibility for our actions and to meet and adapt to the ever-changing wheel of fate. Interesting. Let's continue. Yeah. Addison this time needs to take responsibility, don that armor, figure out their dharma, move in flow, right? Pursue their dream, right? That's the strophalon of Hecate in the middle there, the red and the blue, right? The spinning top, that item that inspired Addis in the beginning to pursue into creation. But now it's about reflecting that and seeing it in something in the universe, right? Reflecting and finding that love everywhere, finding that love in the self, using that love to inspire you to greater and better things, you know, being transformed by it, donning the armor, rising to the occasion, taking responsibility and moving in action. You know, remember Arjuna. Arjuna fights his brothers and his cousins, his family and his tutors, his friends, right? Took responsibility. That's a painful energy. But that's the energy of the chariot, doing what is needed. And if you can do this, if you can don that armor and you can pursue and take responsibility of your life, then you have the sun, the most beautiful card in the deck, right? That complete balance, light upon the earth, joy and fulfillment, completed happiness, love and abundance, new birth, right? It's incredible, powerful energy. Take responsibility and move towards what you love. Be that Prince of Cups who pursues that love and does the disciplined action necessary, right? And that sun will manifest. Yeah. We have that procreative energy. This is about giving birth to new ages, children, to new art, new creation, the coming together for love and fulfillment. You're pursuing love and creation, right? This is a consummation, a coming together, completing that alchemical wedding. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful energy. Wow. Amazing. But you got to don that armor and move. See where this is going. Yeah. See things from multiple perspectives and recognize the time for change is now, right? Do the work of seeing things, become a truth with yourself so that you can move and flow, so that you are not preventing yourself. You're not doubting yourself. You're not being cruel to yourself. You're not worrying. No, you're seeing things as they are, and you're recognizing that you have the power to move ahead, to transform. It rests with you in the actions you take. Yeah. If you can be in truth, you can manifest that change. You can change your physical surroundings. You can move and flow. This is new jobs, moving your house, moving locations, moving everything. Radical physical upset, you know? Beautiful energy. But you have to be in acceptance of this, you know? When we're trying to move or change our place, change our home, a big part of that requires us to be at peace with where we were and letting it go. Are there still things that tie you to where you were at? There shouldn't be. This energy is showing there isn't, you know? Let's see. Balancing things out, learning to move and flow, accept and move with change, right? Just, it's not even that radical change is necessary for this Addis character. Part of the problem with the Addis character is that he wants to do radical change, right? He's prone to do radical things like potentially self-harm, you know, in the pursuit of that divine glory. But what we're seeing here connected in that cross, and we'll get to it later, is that we have that adjustment energy, dote and antidote, balancing that radicalism, you know, learning to be in that truth, to accept change. You know, change is always going to be weird and it's going to require a lot of adaptation and growth. And you have to be able to move and flow with it, right? Okay. We're now going to flip and take a look at our full spread. But before I do, please, once again, give me a like and a subscribe. And if you're at all interested in a private reading, reach out, snappydddts@gmail.com. You can find everything in the description below. And come join the Myth and Lore Discord. Hang out. Say hi. It's a good time. All right. Here we go. Let's start here. This is fated change. This is fated change. It's fated change. But it requires you to physically change. Okay? So the wheels in the world are changing. You have to physically move, though, with it. If you can physically move with it and adapt to this change, The sun is guaranteed. You've done the hard work to manifest it. This beauty is on the horizon. You just need to go towards it. Love it. All right. We come here. We have that Prince energy, right? That energy of taking account, of doing what is necessary to discipline ourselves, right? And connected to Him, we have twofold. You have to balance out this energy, right? Self guilt, self harm, holding yourself to ridiculous standards is not going to be good here. This is all about balance in many ways, not fighting, not resisting, doing what is necessary, organizing your life and putting things into practical motion, right? You balance your mind and then you do the physical task of moving, right? You combine these two energies and you're going to manifest this beautiful change, you know? This tower, this painful energy of transformation, you know, it's about giving up of habits. It's about giving up of, you know, it's always painful energy, right? This is that painful energy of having to transform and adapt and change, right? If you really want to pursue that art, it's going to require you, right, to overcome this fall and to do what is needed to move towards it, right? It's painful energy, but we have to face that Aries energy head on. You have to pick up the pieces and build it anew, right? Where's this tower coming from? Where is it going? What we're seeing here, though, it's that faded energy of transformation. You know, what I'm seeing, I think, is that this prince needs to move. This cup needs to react and change and accept his fate. And if he doesn't accept his fate, his world is coming crashing down, you know? And what he's out to do is pursue this art. And he needs to learn to move and adapt, right? Let's that tower energy come. And that tower energy is coming, but you can adapt and move, right? You can, if you balance things out, you can get to that sun. Well, yeah, let's do the crosses here. So when we look at the cross, the key to manifesting the sun is learning to move in adjustment, dote and antidote, to just do what is necessary, right? To learn to see things clearly and to move and flow, right? To temper this prince and to pursue that dream. Beautiful. And then the other one, yeah, the change here is that you're now working and pursuing art. You're going to be in that creative pursuit. And this requires a physical change, a physical manifestation of this, pursuing of this energy, this loving connection that's going to bring about that sun. It's beautiful, right? We just need to adapt to fate and move with it, right? Move towards the sun lest the tower come crashing down around us. You know, see things clearly. See that the change is needed, that the wheels are turning, and that the sun and the art are on the horizon. If you can get to it, if you can get to it. All right, everyone. Beautiful. I hope that resonated with you. It certainly resonated with me. And we're going to do one final reading and call it an evening. So, and always remember, go out under that full moon. Take advantage, people. Praise Hecate. All right. Here's the message. Man will not take it at that price. He demands the romantic delights of your hell while he is still on earth. Man will not take it at that price. He demands the romantic delights of your hell whilst he is still on earth. You know, and this is a message we see with that card of Addis. For many of us, we need to suffer. We need to go through that pain, and we need to recognize that the pursuit of pleasure is a destructive experience. You know, many of us are incapable. We're in that bound kind of mindset. You know, we can't get over this. And we need to see that in ourselves and do what is necessary to overcome those addictive personality traits, right? Lest you destroy yourself, you know? Can you have the strength like Addis to break the cycle and to go back to imitate the mother? Do you have the power to balance him out so that that energy doesn't wind up committing too much of that imitation and hurting itself, which is not necessarily where you're flowing, right? Where are you flowing? What does this energy manifest for you? These mythic images are meant to help us and help us understand and flow, right? Okay. All right, everyone. Think on it. Lots to think about. But either way, embody that beautiful transformative energy. Go out under the moon and praise Hecate, Isis, the Great Mother. All right. Peace and love, everyone. And Persephone. Take care.